Spirit of time. All right, here, and then I would like to introduce Father David. So that was like perfect timing. Okay, keep going. All right, so thank you all for attending this morning. This is our once a year get together in terms of introducing the new Vestry candidates, which you're going to meet three of them this morning. We have asked them just to introduce themselves. If we want or we have some time at the end for Q&A, we can do that, and I'm going to lean on Father David to facilitate that part of it. But I thought in the spirit of time, we're going to get started. This morning, we're going to have Carol Becker. We're going to have, let's see, Leslie, you're in, right? Okay, I know you are. I'm just making sure you're on. Leslie Mann and Eric Schwartz. So why don't we just do it by alphabetical order, and then, yeah. Okay, so Carol Becker will be the first to introduce herself as the 2026 Vestry candidate.
I'm not going to stand behind the podium. That feels too formal. So good morning, everybody. I'm Carol Becker, and I'm really happy to be here amongst all of you who some of you I know, some of you I'm still getting to know. But I guess I'll start by saying that, I fell in love with Lancaster County when my parents and primary family moved here when I was 9, and I still love Lancaster County. My dad was the United Church of Christ pastor, and he had a church in the southern end, Zion United Church of Christ. And so I grew up in that warm, supportive Christian community, and I really enjoyed that experience. It was really so much fun, and it was so compelling to grow up in that space. So fast forward to adulthood, I came into the Episcopal Church. When you move out of the area, UCC churches kind of disappear, and I was drawn to an Episcopalian church in Delaware, Christ Church Christiana, which happens to be the church that we got Mother Stacy from, an excellent parish. My husband, Mike Becker, who's sitting right here, we were married at that church in 2015. And then we had to kind of reorganize ourselves, get back up in this area, sell 2 houses, find a house to buy. It took some time. But we started to visit this church right before COVID hit, and then, of course, there was the disruption with COVID. But we stuck with it because we really felt that there were so many wonderful things about St. James. First of all, I loved all the contemplative programs here, and I still do. I'm really into the Urban Well, the Mercy Seminar. I was just telling Randall how much I've enjoyed about 3 years of Mercy Seminar, where you really get into the interfaith discussion, and I think that's really important. There's a lot to learn from other faiths and a lot to think about when you come back to your own faith. So there's that. That was always fun to do. Mike and I actually joined officially early in 2024. I retired in January of 2024, so 2 years ago. I had been in the pharmaceutical industry for 35 years. I'm a scientist by training, and I had performed some leadership responsibilities. So I led teams of as small as 10 people, as large as a department of 135 people. So, you go through a lot when you have all those people to organize. So a lot of strategic thinking, a lot of solving problems with people and coaching. And I always loved coaching people and working with their ambitions and their ups and downs. So that was always good. But when I retired, I wanted to do something more. I wanted to give back. I've been richly blessed, and I wanted those to pay back or pay forward those blessings. So I started to work at Water Street Mission, and I'm still working there as a volunteer. I serve meals, and I go to the food pantry and help out there, and it's hard work, but it's a lot of fun. But I still wanted to do more. So in the fall of 2024, I enrolled in a special opportunity here at St. James. It's a retreat in daily life. It's the spiritual exercises according to St. Ignatius of Loyola. And it was led by our very own spiritual director, Pat Latchaw. And it was a wonderful experience, very deep experience of learning to go deeper into your spirituality. Setting aside time daily to pray, to be in stillness, and listen to what the Holy Spirit is saying to you in your life. And so one of the things I heard in that 34-week time was a call to spiritual direction. So beginning next month, I will start training as an Ignatian spiritual director, and I'm really excited about that formation. And I hope to share those experiences with you, whether or not I'm on Vestry. I think it's a really joyful thing for me, and I really would like to share that joy with you. So on Vestry, I would be very interested in mission opportunities, in continuing to work with contemplative programs. And I think we have a great opportunity right now. We're growing so fast. I want to be part of that conversation about how to make sure that we are set strategically for the future and that we're meeting everyone's needs. So currently I serve as a Eucharistic minister, and I'm training as a Eucharistic visitor, and that's just about it. Okay.
Leslie, great to welcome you. And I had a whisper in my ear from Jeremiah that actually being here would be helpful so that you can get picked up for the online audience and participants who are here as well. So let me invite Leslie Mann here, and she can, if not be behind, then at least close to the podium here.
Okay, thank you. Good morning. My name is Leslie Mann, and I'm honored to be here with you today. This is not on.
So that you're, there you are. Good.
Oh, there.
And
Is that better? Okay. Thank you to Father David and Andrew Flitchbaugh for the opportunity to run for Vestry. So why I love St. James is it's a gorgeous and historic church. The clergy is tremendous and the music is uplifting. I was lucky to find St. James not long after I moved to Lancaster 15 years ago. My husband and I had our wedding reception right across the street at the Hamilton Club. I had an Episcopalian upbringing. I grew up in Sewanee, Tennessee, where my parents were on the faculty of Sewanee, an Episcopalian liberal arts college. I was baptized and confirmed in the Episcopal Church. When I was growing up, absolutely every Sunday after breakfast, my parents and sisters and I would head over to All Saints Chapel, the Sewanee University Chapel, for the 10 o'clock service. Unbeknownst to me at the time, my future husband was attending All Saints regularly as well. He'd come down from Philadelphia to attend college at Sewanee. We didn't actually meet until 20 years later, but our paths first crossed in the Episcopalian Church. After high school, I headed north to attend college at Bard and then to New York City. After a lengthy career at some of the finest magazines, I relocated to Lancaster in 2010. My husband George's family has been rooted in Lancaster for many generations. George owns and operates a farm in Manor Township and is a fifth-generation owner of Lancaster County Motors family of car dealerships. George and I met through mutual friends on a canoe trip on the Brandywine River. Our son Isaac was born in 2011. Lancaster has been a happy, healthy, and safe place for us to raise our son, and being members of St. James has contributed much to our quality of life here. My son Isaac, now 14, has served as an acolyte at St. James, and I have participated as a reader and a greeter at the 10:30 service. Taking part in the service is a powerful experience. I have enjoyed the opportunity to participate in the service and to connect with a group of people coming together to pray. And this is why I want to serve on the vestry. I want to contribute and promote the in-person experience of attending and participating in church in a time when our post-pandemic society has become increasingly disconnected. I want to help in whatever way I can to promote the healing message of Christianity and would like to assist St. James in growing its congregation. Thank you again for the opportunity to run and considering me for vestry.
Thank you, Leslie, and what a great set of stories for George and you. And All Saints is probably one of the most beautiful places to worship in the country, and amazing to have that steadfastness of faith and witness here. I'll continue with our third candidate as we continue to grow through this season of sharing testimonies and passion for this place. We've got one more, or that's two out of those who are coming. Are we? Yep. Eric, great. Come on up.
Good morning. I'm Eric Schwartz. I am running for Vestry because I think I have some kind of background that's helpful. At least Chuck Smith thought that I had some opportunity to do so. And then this is my second attempt at running. I tried running last year, and I'm also thankful to Kerry Bolton for recognizing me as someone to run for Vestry. So I'm not from this area. I was raised in Florida. I began actual volunteering with my dad. We'd go to church regularly as Catholics, but what I learned service to the community at a very young age. I joined the Navy in '97 as a submarine nuclear propulsion operator, and I learned the value of education and training and how it is enabling for people. I had used the GI Bill to come to Pennsylvania and attend Penn State, which was a great honor and a privilege for me. I went on to Missouri for graduate school, and then eventually settled here in Lancaster because of its nuclear power industry. My wife, Ashley, is she around here still? Oh, great. Well, I didn't know where you went. So Ashley, she is from Canada. We met while I was attending graduate school, and we both fell in love with this place. We've remained here in Lancaster since 2011. We married in 2012, and we became members of this church sometime around, I can't remember, the birth of our son, Henry, which is in 2014. So I've worked at Peach Bottom, 3 Mile Island since 2011 in a variety of technical roles. So I have a very technical background. I am now currently the engineering outage manager at the former 3 Mile Island, now called Crane, as we restart the Unit 1 as a first ever evolution for humanity. This also requires a lot of human resources to help us bring this dream to fruition. I volunteer regularly at Franklin and Marshall College in the Department of Earth and the Environment as their radiochemist, where I use natural radioactivity in the environment to help us monitor environmental changes in the air, water, and soil. And there I'm involved in training and mentoring students, as well as many of the new engineers working hard at the Crane Clean Energy Center. I believe in education as an empowerment, and I believe in transparency to the public where I work. While I haven't volunteered for the Habitat for Humanity here in Lancaster, I used to throughout my travels in the Navy and in graduate school, many years, hoping to get back into that. And I'm right now leading an effort to create a new program at Franklin and Marshall, which will be unique in the United States in nuclear energy towards F&M's direction to support the Commonwealth for this community. While they're trying to open up more opportunities for local students to attend F&M more affordably, we want to give them more opportunities for them to work in technical roles. I'm humbled at the progress that we've all made and looking forward to improving those opportunities in our local area, which in turn stabilizes family and supports stable growth. I am running for Vestry to bring my background in volunteer work, my experience in managing contracts, working with contractors, some of the boring things that was discussed that you do work on Vestry. So I do a lot of strategic planning in my engineering roles at Constellation, but I'm looking really more forward towards advancing the mission of the church to strengthen local institutions that have brought much to myself and to my family. I serve as a lector. I already did that. I'll do it again. I promise you. And I'm also in the rotation to be a greeter, which has been very interesting work. So I'm glad. It's a constant learning opportunity for me as I keep doing that. So thank you very much for your time. I appreciate your time.
Do we have Drew and Kate next week or this week? All next week, good, along with Sam Slaymaker, who's not going to be able to be with us as he had a previously scheduled time away in January, and his candidate profile is there, along with those who have shared so richly of themselves. The most important thing, as we always say in this work of standing for election, whether it's to the Board of Endowment Trustees or the Vestry, is this stirring up of the gifts of leadership, and those who are not elected find new roles, and all of us get to hear more about our sisters and brothers in Christ that we would otherwise never hear. This is the downside of the downside of the Episcopal Church and liturgical tradition. I was thinking everybody on Vestry should preach, but that would probably be a disincentive for getting people to stand. But the opportunity that we have to just get to know each other in those ministries that they themselves have started in, grown deeper through, and then opened their hearts to whatever the next horizon is for them in love and service to this community, to you as their sisters and brothers in this moment in which you hear from them their reflections on this season of growth for us, change and disruption, as well as continuity in our national and local lives together in these United States, where communities of faith and where elections and civil society have played such a crucial but hidden role in knitting us all together at the levels that we're so often forgetting of their importance because we do it every Sunday, or we do it every other Sunday, or we just go to work and are so busy raising families that we easily forget in our humility as well as busyness just how important each one of us is, the contribution that we make, and all that we have to offer to God who gave so much to us. This is an opportunity to continue to answer questions and reflections about the overarching vision and connecting work of Vestry, of the Board of Endowment Trustees, of the ministries of the clergy, and as we get to think about what things are in the Diocese of the Susquehanna and the Episcopal Church more widely, what questions you may have and what answers we as clergy may have for you as you ask them. So let me hand over to you in the time that we have left. All questions welcome, and just to be sure that I don't forget, I hope that those of you who are here have found some copies of your headlines and happenings of the vote of the forthcoming bylaws change, and the opportunity that we have to make those changes incrementally to the regulations and rules that we are meant to be following, meant to be separating our powers for, so that the congregation is able to be empowered because this isn't about clergy ministry. This is about a church that is made up of the people of God, who clergy are here to help animate, not just be the ones who carry the show. And Glenn's preaching beautifully about that already, and will continue at the 10:30. Anything I need technically from you, Jeremiah, or to learn in our microphone management? That's me. Good. Q&A. Anything from all y'all? Great. Zest. Wonderful to see you.
Among the 100 questions that we might ask as a congregation, one of the things that's always curious to me as I walk by the old library is what's happening down the street. And there's always, St. James, I'm sure, is somewhat aware of what's happening down there. And I think in general, I'd love to hear a hefty portion of building and grounds discussions at our annual meeting, because we're all concerned about our grounds, our building, our property, and all that God has given us. And so that would really be helpful too, I think, to all of us.
Thank you, and a great preview of what the annual meeting is as an opportunity for us as Vestry to report, as especially Chuck, as he concludes his year as senior warden and his term as vestryman, for us to do so. Quickly, the 125 North Duke Street, the old library site, which is now officially called the Old Library, as it's going to be the new corporate headquarters of the work of Charter Homes and Neighborhoods that is led by Mr. Bowman and the team of people that he has around him, the opportunity of that investor group who has, just to remind anyone who is new to the understanding, the opportunity to purchase the library site when the library moved to Barney Ewell Plaza was too good to pass up as an opportunity for us to really shape what that contiguous property was going to be for us, and challenge ourselves to see what vision and opportunity there might be for us to continue to shape the city in its urban renewal as we've done in Lancaster since 1744. The opportunity remains wide open to us. We have their commitment to manage and maintain that site for 10 years so that we can do the strategic planning and the long-range development for our own vision for us, for this building that is antique in many ways. 1904, I think it was considerably before the first Model T was rolling off the assembly line, just to remind us of our industrial history. And the building in which we are now seated in, I think Eisenhower was our president. And Molly, whose father made this addition to the parish house, said, I think the flooring is still the original flooring that she remembers as a girl growing up, which is cracking and falling apart. And of course, the question is, do you put in a new floor and then muck up the building and muck up the floor that you just put in, or do you continue to let the floor deteriorate while you wait to figure out what you're going to do about this building, contingent on the next building, contingent on what y'all have to give in your pockets, and what it is that we need to do in order to tend to the bricks and mortar of the other buildings, and so on. So that is the work that Vestry does, that the work of stewardship and giving and our own strategic planning places before us. So that's a great insight into the small, medium, and large work of Vestry that is actually going to be pretty crucial in the next 3 years as we get to grips with that incredible invitation that the investors in the library site have given to us to be partners in without carrying the liability for in the short term, so that when we are ready to build, invest, or connect, we are doing so after very careful thought and discernment about our needs, the needs of the community, and the opportunities for us to be not just in the top 1% in church size of Episcopal churches nationally, but what it is that that calling is within that 1% for us to be where we are with the renewal of our lives in contemplative prayer, the teaching, and the urban renewal that is all around us in this remarkable Lancaster County. So I hope that gives some answer to your question, Izetta, as well as a foretaste of the remarkable work that Buildings and Grounds does as a committee, month by month in its work, and the extraordinary leadership of Marianne Murata as the chair of that Buildings and Grounds committee. Ashley.
This question, I guess, is for both clergy and for Vestry, future Vestry members. I am curious in how we can use the old library or use our resources to help integrate ourselves into the mental health of the community. I'm a counselor by trade. I work for WellSpan as well as a private practice, and I do my own work as well with mental health education at seminars and conferences and so forth. And I'm really wondering, as a means of income for the future, partnering with mental health organizations might be a really nice way to get some extra income for St. James, but also, live our Christian values throughout the community. And I know that idea is already very much part of St. James. We used to have the Anchor program. We could no longer accommodate it. But I'm wondering if, for the Vestry for the future, if we could start to create some partnerships somehow that we could really help either, children or schools or, the homeless crisis in some way. If that could be a direction, if the Vestry ever wants to speak to that, or if anyone who's running, is already interested in something like that as a way to, create sustainable income, partnering with businesses, organizations in that manner, because I see it as a very acute need in our city. Just working with folks who are high acuity, housing unstable and whatnot. So, anyway.
Yeah, thanks for raising that. I'm very aware of the mental health needs. My youngest sister has a PhD in psychology, and she works in a social work organization that's largely involved with elders, but she's done homeless care and et cetera. So I'm here all the time on a personal level. Plus, working with Water Street, I've been really had my eyes opened to everything that they have done in the past even few years, and they're still planning and going forward. They're really rolling. It used to be sort of a little old homeless shelter. It's not that anymore. It's children and school. It's a youth center. It's intermediate care when people have to come home from a hospital and they don't have a place to go. So I think it's a really interesting idea, and maybe there would be other partners like Water Street that we could find out what's the niche that needs to be taken care of, and think about that in the plan. I think it's a great idea.
Any others who want to reflect on that, or indeed Chuck, who is himself bridging all of those ministries in a number of important ways, or the continuing reflections that you or we have together?
Yeah, I just want to make one comment about that, and thanks Ashley and thanks Carol.
Could you come up here, because then I think we've got a
Yeah.
an online audience
Okay.
as well.
Yeah, so good question, Ashley, and good comments, Carol. I don't know how many in this room have received a message from Mother Stacy. I know that within the next month or so that we are planning on, I want to say, rebirthing or revamping the interest in exactly what you are talking about. We currently we host an NA group here on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Personally, I don't think that's enough. To your point, Ashley, to your point, Carol, it is a real issue in this community. So what I'm going to ask y'all to do, and I'll remind Stacy to include you all if you want to be involved in that, because there's more that we need to do and there's more that we should do as far as a parish. So good. Ashley and I did not rehearse this, by the way. So okay.
Thanks, Chuck. And I'm working on the annual report with Nancy now, and Steph Joe and Stacy, and the extensity of the relationship and networking that we are doing, which is creating every month a major organization, or maybe every quarter, a major organization approaches us to wonder out loud about those questions. And probably every month I have a meeting as a consequence of those conversations, sometimes with Chuck and others on buildings and grounds, to reflect together on how this campus could be a collaborating hub for community mental health, behavioral health, as well as those principles of wellness and contemplative, mindful practices that we know are at the heart of re-centering our social, common, and faith lives, as well as mind, body, and spirit. It's a great season to be in this business and to be strong. Most sadly, the devastating experience of Church World Service, for example, of federal income cuts, set them back and us back very profoundly, having spent several years working and building up in a partnership. Thank God we are able to be strong for and with them in a time that they have been weakened, and they could not be more grateful for that. And we will continue to find those partnerships and opportunities to work together. So those of you who are out on boards connecting, or have friends and family, do be like the sower who goes out to sow and just puts the seed on the ground, and we'll see what takes hold and root together. George.
I'm going to take a shot at this library business. This is an idea that just came into my head, and that is, why not create a library that's full of books that are actually worth reading in terms of helping an individual become better versions of themselves.
Yeah.
This is a very old-fashioned idea. Ben Franklin talked about it, Andrew Carnegie promoted it. The idea that you can read and read certain things that will better your life. That's just an idea that, we can reuse that space for that. That's it. And it can have a very Christian slant to it.
It's fantastic. And in the language of faith, we talk about formation, and that is the spiritual and intellectual formation of how is it that we construct the interior life, the minds that are able to find attention, to find truth, to find content, purpose, and meaning for life as individuals, members of communities, our nation, and our world. That is a beautiful synergy and connectivity that we need to and can offer. We do it in miniature every Sunday, every Tuesday night, and in the yoga studio beneath us. And how might we scale that up, reimagine how to do it in the 21st century with the pioneering work of those in the 19th century, and those things that through the 20th century we ended up taking for granted, but as they disappear, we are discovering what the cost is to our own impoverishment. So a beautiful idea, and let's continue to animate that with those that are around. There is a time and a place to be very confident in the old-fashioned things and the old-fashioned ways that we are rooted in and value, while being creative enough and innovative enough to match them up with the technology and the opportunities we have in this generation. And that is a tremendous opportunity that St. James has, and is the joyous burden that I and your clergy and vestry labor under, which is how much more we could be, precisely because we are large enough to do what we have on this campus and put at the disposal of others. We're ready to go. I think that's a great place to start. We have more conversation next week to have, as well as 3 more candidates to hear from. Thank you to all of you who are part of this work of discernment and community and lay leadership.